This is Freelance Client Secrets Module 3, Video 3. In this video, I go over setting terms with the client. In this video, I'm going to cover how to manage payments and clarify scope of work. I don't generally recommend taking hourly work, but if you do, then I'm going to explain how it works. Elance and Odesk and probably other sites have a time tracker that you can download. You basically turn it on while you are working and turn it off when you stop. It takes screenshots of your computer screen that your employer can review to make sure that you are working. Payment is automatic each week and guaranteed, unless of course the employer disputes it. This is one of the nice features of hourly work. Be sure to only log time that you are actually working. Don't count time spent playing around or waiting for things to download, if it is a really long download or upload. Also be sure to discuss expected costs and time upfront with the client. Even for hourly work, the client will want to know how much they will be paying for the completed task. If you will be doing research on the web, for example for a writing project, then you might want to inform the client that you will be charging for that time so that there are no surprises. There are two types of hourly clients that I want to talk about. Firstly, someone that is looking for the lowest price. What I found when I started outsourcing early on is that if I hire someone hourly to do a website versus fixed price, then hourly usually ended up being cheaper. With fixed price, people will usually pad their estimates at least a little just in case it ends up being extra work. The reason this is important is because you need to realize that some of these clients have low budgets and may be unhappy if the project accumulates more hours than expected. Another risk is if you are unable to finish the project successfully. This could result in a disappointed client and bad feedback. The second type of client that hires hourly is someone that has a complex project or ongoing work and isn't sure about all the details yet. For this type of client, if they have good cash flow and a reasonable budget, then this is the type of hourly client that you would want if you do decide to take hourly work. Now I'm going to talk about managing payments for fixed price projects. Elance and Freelancer and some other freelancing sites offer the escrow system. You can also break big jobs into milestones. I recommend that you make sure each milestone is funded before you begin work. That way, if the milestone is funded and you complete the task and then the client disappears, which does happen, then you can request release of payment. And if the client doesn't dispute it, then you will get paid automatically in about a month at most. Here are a few more milestone tips. To reduce risk, make the first milestone a little larger to offset the risk in case issues arise for the next milestone, or in case the next milestone ends up taking a lot of time to complete. I like to make the first milestone a quick milestone, meaning that it is something that I can complete quickly. I also like to make the final milestone a little smaller in case things drag out, but make it big enough that the client will approve. Now I'm going to talk about setting payment terms. Firstly, you will need to determine what type of payment will be used. Most freelancing sites have their own payment systems that can deposit money directly into your bank account or PayPal. But sometimes clients will want to use PayPal or some other payment form. Decide on deadlines and deliverables. If you require upfront payment, then that should be discussed. And finally, decide who will handle any additional costs, which can include things like stock photos, website plugins, and other things related to the project. Unfortunately, not all sites offer escrow, so for those situations, we will want to take a different approach. The first option is to request upfront payment for each milestone. If you want to reduce the risk for the client, then you can make these milestones small, with small payment amounts. The second option is to do some work first, but set a quick milestone for the first payment. Make the first payment big enough so that it reduces the risk of working on the next milestone. So let's say, for example, that I normally charge $100 for the first milestone when there is an escrow system. If I'm working on a site with no escrow, then I might want to make the first milestone $200 instead, since I'm not getting paid up front. This will make it less risky for me to continue working on the next milestone without escrow. Another important thing to do is clarify scope of work before the project starts. Set limits for work performed. For example, for articles, you can specify 500 words each, 5 articles total, and infinite revisions. An example for web design is 5 to 10 pages, no e-commerce functionality, and not mobile responsive. Decide who buys plugins, add-ons, stock photos, and any other costs that might come up. Clearly state if the graphic design is included or not included. You will want to get all this info in a questionnaire or info sheet up front so that expectations are clear from the beginning. Deadlines are another important thing to discuss. Determine if the client is in a rush. If not, then add extra time to your estimate just in case. Try to meet due dates regardless. So this is the end of Module 3, and in the next module I will discuss client management.